Before long, he arrived back at Cafe Lautrec. The clock on the wall showed that it was close to 2 o'clock. He had to somehow fill 6 more pages before the loan company came to Heaven Publishing to collect. He booted up his laptop. "What's with this coffee shop?" said a low, stern voice. "You've got no good magazines here." Minorikawa looked up. An older man was complaining to one of the waitresses. It was the same guy who'd been yelling at his daughter earlier. Evidently, he'd been here at the cafe this whole time. "Haven't you got any magazines for me to read?" The man's face was a mask of irritation. Minorikawa glanced at the magazines in the rack. They were mostly geared toward a younger reader. The waitress sifted through the stacks and pulled something from the back. "Perhaps this would be to your liking, sir," she said. She held out an issue of 4-Star General Gossip. "Don't be ridiculous," the man spat dismissively. "This is vulgar, low-grade filth. I wouldn't even use the paper it's printed on for compost." That was a harsh way to put it, but Minorikawa couldn't fault him for speaking the truth. The man continued grumbling as he went back to his seat. Minorikawa headed over to the magazine rack himself and picked up the gossip. He opened the front cover and found the scratch card still inserted within. If these things were still out there, it was bad news. Toyama might end up even further in debt. Bah! Minorikawa yanked the scratch card out and tore it to bits. "Sir, what are you doing?" The waitress rushed to stop him, only for the pieces to rain down on her like confetti. "The magazine itself is still perfectly readable," Minorikawa said. "There's no problem here." He strode back to his seat and gazed at his laptop screen. It still hadn't finished booting up. In the meantime, he decided to give Chiaki a call. She picked up right away. "Hello," Minorikawa asked. "Hi there, good to hear from you," Chiaki replied. "How's progress?" "I did it," Chiaki said, her voice overcome with emotion. "I managed to get people to hear me out." "Of course you did. You got your pointers from me." "Yes, I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Mino." Her mood had done a complete 180. Minorikawa allowed himself a little sigh of relief. "Well, that's kind of nice to hear." "Okay then," he said. "Head back to the editing department and put together an article for me." "You got it, sir," Chiaki chirped in reply. "I'll email you as soon as I'm done with things on my end," Minorikawa told her. "Just use the DTP to slot your piece into the right spot in the layout." Desktop publishing refers to the process of editing a manuscript's layout on a computer preparatory to sending it to the printer. Also used to refer to the software used for creating such layouts. Creating layout data that is ready for printing but has not actually been printed yet is also sometimes called DTP. Sure thing. Minorikawa hung up, then rolled up his sleeves. He sure was towing a pretty narrow line today. The Burning Hammer event had kept him a little longer than anticipated. Now he needed to clean up his copy as soon as possible in order to stick to his schedule. When he turned back toward his laptop, however, he froze with shock. What? His laptop monitor was still a black, empty screen. There's no way it would take this long to finish booting up. Oh, it couldn't be. No, don't let it be true. Had his computer decided to pick now of all times to give up the ghost? Minorikawa felt the blood drain from his face. Oh god, really? That's to be continued? Come to think of it, wasn't Achi's house a computer repair shop, so... Well, maybe it wasn't, I don't know, I can't remember, but I think that might be our solution there. I don't know, we'll see. So just one quick thing before we do anything else. I just want to try this. Jumping to the cat mascot and see if that breaks our keep out. No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, we're still on a keep out. Alright. So, who should we do next? Let's see. Let's take a look at the chart. So we've finished Minorikawa. We've nearly finished Tama. We've done a bit of Osawa, I think. Oh no, we've done a bit of Kano. And then Achi's got to keep out, so we can't do anything with him. Or can we? Actually, I think we can. Because Tama's route had a jump to Achi, right? So, there we go. Alright, so let's jump to Achi Endo. As luck would have it, they soon found a crowd in their path, backs turned toward them. Excited voices rose up from the throng. Whoa, what's the deal? Something going on. It's a street fight. A fight, as the name implies, takes place on the street, typically using bare hands and no weapons. Even a bare-handed fight can result in serious injuries, though, which is why they're pretty illegal. Achi clutched Hitomi's hand good and tight. Whatever you do, don't let go. Without a moment's hesitation, he plowed his way through the crowd. Emerging on the far side of the gathering, Achi saw the main road ahead. Cars were zipping past in a steady stream. What do we do? There were too many cars for them to rush across the street without getting hit. But they couldn't exactly just sit and wait for the light to change. And they certainly couldn't go back the way they came. Their pursuers were getting closer and closer. Hitomi, Achi shouted. We're going across. We're turning back. No, we're going across. Hopefully we don't get hit by a car and just get a bad end right there, but... We're going across. What? Dragging Hitomi by the hand, Achi darted out into the street. Moving purely by instinct, he wove his way through the gaps between the speeding cars. When they were halfway across, a car slammed on its brakes to keep from hitting them, causing several cars behind it to crash into one another. The multi-vehicle pileup plunged the roadway into total chaos. As a result of this chaos, traffic in the nearby area will be at a standstill for a while on their way to the Syndicate hideout. Shinya Kano and Jack Stanley have gotten caught in this traffic jam. Okay. So, that's a thing. Of course, we're not actually going to jump there, but... In a matter of moments, the street was clogged with a long line of stopped vehicles. Achi and Hitomi's pursuers remained on the other side and did not pursue. Okay, that was crazy. Hitomi panted as she caught her breath. Well, you know what they say. Idle feet are the devil's playthings. Hands, it's idle hands. Whatever, at least they gotten away. Come on, let's go. Achi led the way down several twisting side streets before slowing his pace. By now, Hitomi was slumped and panting heavily. He wanted to give her some time to rest, but if they just hung around, their pursuers might still find them. He looked around and spotted a multi-tenant building. The nearest door was open. Bundles of flyers were set out near the entrance. I don't really... What the hell is going on? Is this a glitch? Hold on. Okay, that was a glitch. So just don't check that, I guess. Achi peeked inside and saw piles of plywood and painted lumber. Although I wonder if we can actually check it now, yeah. Flyers for Au revoir, the 22nd performance by the theater troupe The Wandering Angels. It tells the tale of a man named Ryu looking back on his 100-year life as a warrior. The performance features wire action as its major set piece, with Ryu and his rival Shido flying high through the air, doing battle with the magical Muramasa blade and beam saber, respectively. Okay. So, now the game is frozen. So, I actually need to Alt F4 here. So I will be with you in just a moment. Alright, so that was just a glitchy tip, I guess. That's fine. As long as we pick right back up where we left off, it should be okay. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. By now, Hitomi was slumped and panting heavily. He wanted to give her some time to rest, but if they just hung around, their pursuers might still find them. He looked around and spotted a multi-tenant building. The nearest door was open. Bundles of flyers were set out near the entrance. Achi peeked inside and saw piles of plywood and painted lumber. It looked like this was a storeroom for a theater's stage props and scenery. We can hide out in here, he said. But Hitomi hesitated, but Achi gave her hand a little tug. It'll be fine, there's nobody around. They stepped inside the storeroom, and Achi quickly shut the door behind them. We should probably rest for a bit, he said. Unfortunately, they seem to have some kind of, tracker on them or something, so... I don't know, it seems like, they're still going to be found. There was a wooden platform set up beside a large piece of plywood. Achi picked up a magazine that had fallen out from the floor and spread it atop the platform's dusty surface. Is that 4-star general gossip? Here, now you can sit without getting your clothes dirty. Thank you. Hitomi quietly took a seat. We should probably turn off our cell phones, Achi said. Could be really bad if they rang at the wrong moment. The two powered off their phones. I guess they could be using their cells to track them. That would mean that they would have to be... It would have to be the police that's doing that, though, right? Achi took a cursory look around. It didn't look like there was any way in or out besides the door they'd come in through. There was a single window set in the wall, but it wouldn't open far enough to let them through. Oh god. Ah! Hitomi let out a quiet gasp. Someone was outside the storeroom. Achi put a finger to his lips, and Hitomi gave a fearful nod. The window's frosted glass blocked any real view in or out. So long as they stayed quiet, they ought to be safe. Whoever was outside pressed their face to the frosted glass, trying to get a glimpse inside. The blurry visage of the foreigner who'd attacked them was dimly visible. Like the man with the cane before him, this guy was quick to catch up. The man pounded on the glass. Achi swallowed the lump in his throat. If this guy got in, they had nowhere to run. Achi turned to Hitomi. Let's just try and sit tight. We'll be fine, just sit tight. Hitomi clutched onto Achi's arm hard. Can I help you with something? Said a casual voice from outside. They saw their pursuer react at once, pulling back from the window. That's just our storeroom, you know, the voice added. Achi heard footsteps scampering away. The kidnapper had run off. Achi exchanged glances with Hitomi and let out a tiny sigh. There were more voices coming from outside now. What was up with that guy? I don't know. Whatever. Let's just hurry and get stuff tidied up. Man, my throat's raw. It sounded like a conversation between two men. The storeroom door opened and the men plumped their way inside. So this would be Tomonari Takaya and Taro Toga, 2 members of the theater troupe The Wandering Angels. Takaya is the Wandering Angels star actor, playing the lead role of Ryu in today's performance of Au revoir, the troupe's 20-second piece. Last night he slept completely naked and caught a cold, leading to the sore throat he has now. Toga is the stage director handling things behind the scenes. He's very irritated that Shinichi Bando, in charge of the props, seems to have gone AWOL. So, what are we getting? Let's grab all those folding chairs over there. I'm guessing those are coughs, but I'm not gonna do that because it'll actually hurt my throat if I do that. The producer said we're gonna need a lot more seats all of a sudden. Mr. Orai said that. Going all out for the troupe's last hurrah, huh? Beats me, man. In no real hurry, the men went about carting the folding chairs away. They didn't notice Achi and Hitomi sitting silently in the shadows. Not to change the subject, but how come we're using a dry ice machine and not a smoke machine? Maybe that's why my throat's bothering me. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Nobody's even operating it, and it's still drawing a ton of power. Think it's defective. Achi and Hitomi waited for the 2 men to finish up. If they were spotted, it would probably cause a scene, and worse still, it might alert the men who were hunting them. Once they'd carried off the rest of the folding chairs, the men closed the storeroom door. The foreigner could still be somewhere nearby, though, so Achi decided they should hide out in the room a little longer. This blows. I want to get back out there to look for that blue van ASAP, but... Achi trailed off as something occurred to him. Wait a second. Now that's weird. Hitomi looked at him inquiringly. The kidnappers already have the ransom money, yeah? Achi said. That's right. And then they told you that your sister was in some blue minivan. Isn't that kind of weird? What do you mean? Did you figure that your sister was in the minivan by herself? Well, yes. If one of the kidnappers were with her, they wouldn't need to send me to go get her. Right, Achi said. And yet the fact was that as soon as the kidnappers had their money, they could have just let Hitomi's sister out of the vehicle and just run off. There's no point in sending Hitomi to fetch her personally. A look of revelation dawned on Hitomi's face. Well, yes, she's just realizing now that she would have been kidnapped too. Oh. That minivan had already left Doganzaka, she said. And it came back while we were there waiting for it, Achi finished. He thought back to his earlier run-in with the blue vehicle. So then inside that minivan, there had been a bunch of foreigners inside, which meant the kidnappers had been trying to ambush Hitomi. They told her that her sister was in that minivan to lure her to it. And the kidnappers had been lying in wait inside. Do you think they were trying to kidnap me too? That's it. Achi clapped his hands together. Then they'd let your sister go and demand a ransom for you. Then they'd make her deliver the ransom money for your release. They'd be able to get, infinite ransom money by constantly abducting one twin after the other. That seems a little far-fetched. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Now that she'd said so, Achi realized it was kind of a ridiculous idea. Still, what if the kidnappers really were trying to kidnap me? Hitomi said. As in, they accidentally abducted the wrong twin? I mean, I guess that would have been easy to botch up. That would imply that they wanted me specifically and not my sister. Well, then again, they said that they're twins, right? So maybe the person on the cover and the thumbnail that I mentioned a few episodes back, maybe that actually is Tama, but she just looks identical to Hitomi. I don't know. Hitomi paused briefly and thought. Maybe you're hotter than your sister or something, Achi suggested with enthusiasm. Hitomi shook her head. That can't be it. If anything, it's the other way around. Compared to my sister, I'm just... Whoa, hey, stop right there. Achi had to interrupt her. You're not just anything. Please, don't. I am. I'm just... Tears had welled up in Hitomi's eyes. Why'd this have to happen to her? Why not me? Whoa, hey, come on, don't cry. I'm sorry. Cheer up. It's like that song says. Don't just stand there, wipe those tears away. That one. You know it. Is that Ayakamiki? Yeah, that's the one. Put your hand in mine, every single bee's a light. Huh? You know, every single bee's a light. Hitomi let out a giggle. Everything will be alright. Huh? You got the lyrics wrong. It's everything will be alright. Ah, right, yeah. I guess that makes more sense. I guess. Achi's mouth curled into a sheepish smile. Alright, I think we've laid low long enough, Achi said at last. How much you want to bet there's going to be someone just waiting out there with a gun? Think we should be on our way. He was about to get to his feet when he heard voices outside the storeroom again. Yikes, that was pretty careless of us. Yeah, we definitely gotta watch it. The theater guys from earlier had returned and they sounded a bit panicked. That would be Tomonari Takaya and Tadotoga, two members of the theater troupe The Wandering Angels. Takaya is the Wandering Angels' star actor, but lately, in addition to appearing on their stage, he's been taking on TV drama and film work as well. The next role he's slanted for is in Sun TV's upcoming suspense drama Sumo Queen 2, where he'll play the referee who utters the lame line, "Looks like things are getting heavy," upon discovering a victim's dying message inscribed in one corner of the sumo ring. Jesus Christ. Heard folks have been messing with the storeroom a bunch recently. Yeah, huh? And did you hear who's behind it? Some juvenile delinquents. Like a gang? Wow, that takes me way back. Alright, let's hurry on back. Oh god, did they just lock them in? Achi rushed over to the door. He tried turning the knob, but the door wouldn't budge. Oh, come on, are you freaking kidding me? He paced frantically around the room, pulling at his hair. We're locked in. And that door was the only way in or out. Auntie and Hitomi were well and truly trapped inside the storeroom. This is all my fault, Achi said. It was my idea to hide out here in the first place. He bowed to Hitomi repeatedly. We're never going to be able to find that blue minivan now. I guess we'll have to get someone on the outside to help us, Hitomi replied. She scowled thoughtfully. They powered their phones back on in order to call for help. The big question was, who could they possibly ask? Hey, tell me, anyone you can reach out to? Mr. Tanaka, I suppose. Tanaka, right. The suggestion didn't exactly thrill Achi. He had no idea what this Tanaka guy was like. Hopefully he was the dependable sort who'd actually show up to rescue them. But somehow that thought made Achi feel even worse. Achi had someone he figured he could call, but he hesitated, uncertain. There had been a time when he trusted this guy more than anyone. They'd bailed each other out of countless jams. Nowadays, though, things were different. Hitomi gave Achi a puzzled look as he sat, lost in thought. Right, guess I don't have much of a choice. Achi scrolled through the contacts list on his cell phone. He found a name he had thought he'd never call again. Susumu. Yo, Achi, is that you? Susumu's voice was low and guarded. Look, I've got a favor to ask you. I'm in a real bind here. Huh? Like things are ridiculously bad. I thought maybe you could help me out a little bit. You seriously thought I'd help you? Susumu's words were like ice. You messing with me or something, man? Now he sounded a touch angry as well. Painful memories flashed before Achi's eyes. Right then, sorry to bug you, just forget it. But Susumu hung up before Achi was even finished talking. No dice, Achi said to Hitomi with a lopsided frown. She looked back at him, her expression a mirror of his own. What should we do? What should we do? I guess we're back to Mr. Tanaka. I guess so. You want to go ahead then? Hitomi tried calling him repeatedly, but Tanaka didn't pick up. What could have happened? She muttered under her breath. Do you think maybe the kidnappers found out that Mr. Tanaka and I have been in contact? Achi shrugged. It looked like they were just going to need to find some way out of here on their own, and then maybe look for the minivan themselves. Achi strode over to the door and grabbed hold of the knob. He tried giving it a good sturdy pull. Ugh, no good. The thing won't even budge. That door opens outward. Wait, really? Achi tried giving it a push. It still didn't open. He kicked it. Oh! The door wasn't nearly as sturdy as Achi had expected. I think I can make this work. He backed up to get a running start, then kicked the door with all his might. Hi-ya! The door went flying off its hinges. Oh man, that was way too easy. Achi stepped cautiously out of the storeroom. He quickly scanned the surrounding area. There was nobody in sight. Looks like we're in the clear, he called. But Hitomi didn't come out, nor did she reply. Hitomi? She had her phone in hand, apparently still trying to get in touch with Tanaka. With a tiny sigh, Achi had leaned against the wall and waited for her to finish. Well, doesn't look like I'm going to have any luck, she said. You know we can leave now, right? Are you still holding out hope for your Mr. Tanaka? It's not that, I'm just a little worried. Well, yeah, okie dokie then, I'll just wait around here. Okay, I'll be right with you. Uh-huh. Achi shuffled his way back outside. Oh, crap. By the time Achi could finish processing the thought, he was already laid out on the ground. His jaw hit the asphalt hard. He bit the tip of his tongue clean off. The taste of blood filled his mouth. A moment later, he took a sharp blow to the head. He was done for. All the energy drained from his body. His mind whirled. His vision grew hazy. He began to drift from consciousness. Back when he'd run with Susumu and the others, he'd never left himself exposed to a surprise attack. There were plenty of times when he'd taken a punch that sent him reeling, only to spin away and come back swinging. This time, he hadn't even seen it coming. It was his last mistake. Guess I've let myself go soft. Achi grimaced inwardly, muttering in a voice no one but he could hear. Hitomi, I'm so sorry. Bad end. Attacked by the man with the cane. Something gives me the feeling that maybe if we get, if we do something on, Osawa's end, then maybe we can get Tanaka to actually answer the phone, and that'll cause things to go a bit differently. Alternatively, we could also try and just escape the door, or leave the place earlier. That's another option. But I'm not going to try either of those this time, because we're just about out of time, so... let's end things off by just giving a quick rundown on my thoughts on everybody so far. So we've still got Achi. Definitely, I'm enjoying Achi's story. He's got a pretty fun dynamic between him and Hitomi. It's a bit of like a cliche kind of love story going on between the two of them, but it's fine. I mean, the stuff going on between them is still really interesting, and I'm interested to see how things turn out for them. Next, we still got Kano, who seems to be wrapped up in something crazy, and I don't really know what's going on, but I'm curious to see where that's going to lead. I'm also very curious to see what's going on with, what's his name? Tateno, the detective. Because I feel like for Kana to respect him so much, he's gotta be a good guy, right? But that means that he's probably doing something for some reason that he believes is good. And if he is the man with the cane, then that means that there's something else going on here that we don't know about that could be motivating his actions. I don't know. Norikawa's story, he's I don't know, he's fun. I enjoy his antics, you know, all like his like signature pointing and getting in people's faces, and I definitely enjoy Chiaki as well. She's a fun character. I hope that things turn out well for her as well. Then we've got Osawa, who is just like, his entire story is just a complete farce right now, but hopefully it seems like he has some skeletons in his closet, and hopefully we get to learn more about those, and hopefully they aren't too bad, because it seems like he might have some personal demons to get around, I guess. And of course we've got Tama, who I'm still very curious about, but I'm glad that my theory that she had amnesia was correct. I'm assuming that my theory that she's also Maria Osawa is probably going to be accurate as well, but we'll see. Also, just as a side note, it's really difficult for me to hear Maria Osawa and not think of a certain other person who has a similar name named Maria Ozawa, but I'm just gonna leave that there and not go into that further. Anyway, till next time, take care, and I will see you then.